Welcome everybody back to another episode of the Fantasy Stand, where you know it, we are getting in another draft here before the start of the regular season, and of course some more preseason games this weekend. I believe yesterday was the Philadelphia Eagles and New England. I was able to see some game film on some guys, and honestly, yeah, just excited that football is back. Gonna come in here back on the Fantasy Pros Draft Wizards platform on Underdog Fantasy. They actually have a cheap $5 draft on there. Not gonna be getting that today, but more than likely we'll probably be doing it either Monday or Tuesday. But just wanted to come in here, get some other drafts in, get some more practice. Yesterday we had the 10 spots, so we're gonna see where we fall in today. Gonna randomize this 3 times. Go hit it once, twice, and 3 times. And they give us the number one pick. You know, we did have the number one pick in a best ball draft earlier, I think just on Wednesday. So I'm going to go ahead, hit this one more time. And it's honestly just the 11th. We'll go with the fifth time, and then we'll go ahead, just take it. There you go, 7th. I haven't done that position, I think, really, or that much. The good thing is it's in the middle of the draft, so could get some good, decent value kind of falling within the middle of the rounds rather than having to wait for some guys to be there. But as we are looking here in the 7th, Breece Hall goes at number 6. Bijan number 1, Christian McCaffrey number 2, followed by CeeDee Lamb, Tyreek Hill, Justin Jefferson with Breece Hall. Our pick is number 7, and right here left, I mean, 2 great wide receivers in Jamar Chase and Amon-Ra St. Brown. Honestly, though, I would much rather take Amon-Ra St. Brown. Much rather take the player that is actually there practicing with the team. So he's my champion for this year. Kind of looking here, bummed out. We did miss out, of course, on Kyren Williams. Was hoping he would have been able to fall to us. That would be a great pick, great start for us. Kind of looking in here, though, there is Isaiah Pacheco still available. That is honestly the running back who I have been going. So since we are normally drafting about 3 drafts per episode or per pick, I'm going to go ahead and try at least the few different methods that I've been testing personally. So with the 3 wide receiver set, I have been starting with my wide receiver champion first. Normally Amon-Ra St. Brown. There's the Tyreek Hills. Just a top quality receiver, or top-notch receiver, elite receiver to anchor that position since you do have 3 spots to fill. Coming back in the second round and choosing my running back champion, would have loved Kyren Williams there, but we'll, of course, go ahead and take Isaiah Pacheco. He's kind of, to me, the next guy behind him. I know Derrick Henry was also, of course, a possibility, and he actually ended up going, Derrick Henry ended up going right behind us. I'm just going more for the youth, and that is what I am attacking here. So, kind of looking as well, the available guys available, Jalen Hurts, Lamar Jackson. Those are the 2 top QBs there. After that, looking at the wide receivers, Mike Evans is of consideration. Nico Collins is there. Other wide receivers, Malik Neighbors. Let me see. If this was my team, and I know I definitely can fill out some guys later on, I'm going to go ahead and test this with Jalen Hurts in the 3rd. I have a 14-team draft coming up next week that I am considering taking someone like Hurts very high in the high rounds. Either that or just it's a hope that maybe Jaden Daniels possibly falls. But the reason I went with him was just the fact that there are a lot of great wide receivers still available. There's a lot of good running backs, at least that we still like. At least, we already have our champion in Isaiah Pacheco. If you've been following, Zamir White has sort of been our pick, especially, and if we have him as our RB2 there, wouldn't be mad at that at all. Because as I'm looking here, could go tight end position just to go ahead and lock up someone like a Mark Andrews who will be top tier in that. Dalton Kincaid possibly available as well. Dalton Kincaid could possibly be there the next round in the 5th. However, Zamir White has kind of been our pick there, just because we don't want him to essentially get out of our grasp. So a lot of good wide receivers, at least the ones looking here. We do have Jalen Hurts. Devontae Smith is available, but I don't necessarily want the wide receiver two on a team. I mean, I guess he could, have that value with him, essentially having the stack, that Philadelphia stack. It's just he is technically the wide receiver two on the team. So as I'm looking here, do I want the alpha in a George Pickens? I can take a shot in Malik Neighbors, young, exciting rookie. However, there's a lot of rookies later on that we like. So it is risky. Obviously, shoring up your wide receivers with so many. But Malik Neighbors is special. So that wouldn't be a bad pick right here. George Pickens, like I said, in consideration. Mark Andrews right there, 23. I'm gonna go ahead. You know what? I'll shore up these onesie positions up here in the fourth. So essentially get one good guy, or one elite guy in each position, and then fill out the rest of the roster. So we do lose out on George Pickens, who essentially was hoping would be able to fall. He would have been my pick here in the fifth, and then essentially take the chance on Zamir White falling to the sixth. I still have a chance here. I mean, the pick predictor, it's saying there's a 5% chance that he does get selected. That's still, obviously a risk. Number 5, if I'm looking here though, Rashee Rice is kind of exciting. Knowing in the third that if we do lock up that wide receiver 2, we still have elite quarterbacks in Kyler Murray, C.J. Stroud, Dak Prescott, Joe Burrow. Christian Kirk is here, although I like Brian Thomas Jr. a little bit better. So Terry McLaurin, Tank Dell. Tank Dell probably be a shot, even though he's he's a third option. There's just so many options there. I mean, Tank Dell is special. So really here, if I'm kind of looking at a wide receiver to take, it's somewhat between Tank Dell, Rashee Rice. Chris Godwin is the wide receiver too. Deontay Johnson, number 35. Didn't he? Yeah, obviously that injury tag is there. I did see something come up that Deontay Johnson is dealing with. I just couldn't. I just off the top of my head, I don't remember what it was. The thing, though, is like, do we really want Deontay Johnson as our wide receiver two, or would we much rather take someone like Tank Dell, Terry McLaurin, to fill up that spot? Especially in here, knowing that the next couple picks were going to be essentially taking more running backs. The pick is Terry McLaurin, Tank Dell, or Rashee Rice. And out of those, Terry McLaurin does have the rookie quarterback. Tank Dell is a third option in that wide receiver room. And Rashee Rice right now, Hollywood Brown is out. Xavier Worthy still is a rookie. No impending. Man, I'm gonna go Rice. I don't have a lot of shares in him. Obviously, the legal ramifications are a concern. However, Calvin Ridley right there in the 7 too. I guess Calvin Ridley wouldn't be a bad wide receiver too, knowing that if he would have been, I guess I should have just scrolled down to see if he was available. Because yeah, Amon-Ra, Calvin Ridley there. I'll still take this build. Obviously, coming down here, we would miss out essentially on Zamir White, or a great chance we would miss out on Zamir White. Good to know too that at least Zamir White is falling to that 6th round. So depending on where you fall in your draft, if you do have an earlier 6th round pick, you do have a shot at least waiting on him, filling up the rest of the roster, and then knowing that you could still shore up him as your RB2. Because here, I mean, you can still fill up some guys. I love that Jaden Daniels still available. Great wide receiver 3 option, Jayden Reed. Raheem Mostert to me is the one I am leaning towards. Keon Coleman would be our pick after that in the 8th, which depending on which platform you're of course going or drafting off of, he can go out in the 7th as well. So Jane Daniels available. Jake Ferguson and Njoku. Lad McConkey, who is going to be great. Brian Thomas Jr. down here, who Keon Coleman, though, to us. Keep calling it a slight reach. I don't care. We'll come back here. What running backs are available? Jerome Ford is there. Wide receiver wise, Brian Thomas Jr. does have a 29% chance that we do lose out on him. That is tough. I feel we did sleep on some wide receivers, so I'm going to go ahead and start shoring up some of those guys. I think Brian Thomas Jr. has the potential to be something special this year in his rookie season. And also, too, looking at the running backs, Chuba Hubbard's there. Gus Edwards is there. Gus Edwards to me is such a wild card. Man. I'm actually going to take someone who I know will give me value right off at the start of the year, and that's going to be Chuba Hubbard. The coaching staff even came out and highly touted him, gave him just their support. So he's there. Another one, if I wanted to take, would either be Ty Chandler or Jaleel McLaughlin. Kind of looking here in redraft, I wouldn't necessarily attack my backups. I'm actually going to come in here in the wide receiver just to see who is available. Rashid Shaheed, who I think I just saw got a toe foot injury just today. Jahan Dotson, who I hear is not a lock for that wide receiver 2 position or hasn't showed enough. I'm actually going to come in here. Let me see. Anyone's high? Oh, man, so hard to not pull the trigger on someone like Jake Ferguson, at least to shore up Mark Andrews. Man, I am light in some depth pieces, but I'm going to go this route. Jake Ferguson, I think, is going to be great. We'll see who comes here. If Jayden Daniels is still there and as a quarterback, I'm going to shore him up as a backup. Check out this team. I got Hurts and Daniels. We got 2 more slots. Let's see the running back available, best running back available. No one really that I see could possibly give us some value. Tyrone Tracy, he would have been the one, but after that scary injury, but although he's Superman and came back, he'll be interesting to follow for the next couple of weeks just to see what really happened there. Braylon Allen also would be a great backup to Breece Hall. Looking here in the wide receiver wise, Jalen Polk's still available though. Reports he's still getting reps with the ones. Will be special. Coming in here, there's another exciting rookie. We've actually been targeting Troy Franklin a lot in the past. Recent reports though, he just is falling further and further down that depth chart apparently. So as of now, Troy Franklin kind of a stay away. Marvin Mims would probably be, of course, the better bet there. Just looking at some of these wide receivers, we could go on another one in Adonai Mitchell. Xavier Leggett essentially would be my favorite pick. I wish he would have still been available. However, just looking, he actually went in that 13th round after we took Jalen Polk. So we did go ahead and miss out on him. Let me see here. Wide receiver, running backs. I mean, we are just looking for a depth piece. Let me look at the running backs. Team-wise, Zamir White, Pacheco. I'll go ahead. I'll just take up my backup in Alexander Madison. Come in here. We'll go ahead get our defenses. Defense kicker. $69. What up? D plus, guys. Nice. So obviously very light on wide receiver in this set. Maybe there was a chance Isaiah Pacheco possibly still falls to the third. We'll be testing that here. I mean, it is a middle round pick, so we do have a shot. If we were, say, like in the 10th, 11th, 12th range, obviously I think he'll go a lot earlier. But if, man, 7th, we're still a little bit heavy. But top quarterback in Jalen Hurts, Pacheco, Zamir White, 2 running backs, wide receivers Amon-Ra St. Brown, Rashee Rice, Keon Coleman, Mark Andrews in the tight end spot with Raheem Mostert in the flex, Brian Thomas Jr., Chuba Hubbard, Jake Ferguson, Jaden Daniels, Jalen Polk, and Alexander Madison. We'll come in here. Let me see. 85. That's crazy. Everyone hates this roster except for one man. I got a 59. I've never even seen that number. I didn't even know you could draft that. Like Derek Brown definitely needs to go down this roster and just do a rundown on why he hates Jalen Hurts, Pacheco, Zamir White, Amon-Ra, Rashee Rice, Keon Coleman, Mark Andrews, Raheem Mostert. I mean, I drafted everyone on his do not draft list apparently. But Andrew Erickson with the 85, I'll go ahead take that. Take that 69. We'll go ahead, come in mock draft again. And we'll see. You know, if we do go ahead the wide receiver route, see which running backs are available there in the third. As someone like maybe, man, I don't want to say like, yeah, Pacheco's just kind of that last tier for us that we would want, at least a champion. Because if we do miss out on him, really looking who else is available, we kind of punt that position. May take a shot on Rashad White or something, depending if we just already shored up our wide receiver positions. But we'll come in here, start this draft number 2, and we will figure out how this roster shapes out to be. And look at that, Amon-Ra St. Brown still there, still going wide receiver. Coming in here, lose out on Kyron. Wide receiver 2-wise, between me, I still give a shot at Devontae Adams. Everyone loved Michael Pittman Jr. last year. That's because of Gardner Minshew. And when Aiden O'Connell took over for Jimmy Garoppolo, he actually fed it to Devontae. So I like Devontae. A lot of people like Drake London. It's a wild card for me. I mean, is it really Kirk Cousins? Is he the truth? I could probably go ahead and take him here. I'll give it a shot. Cooper Kupp, of course, rising as well. But you know what? I'll take Drake London. Don't have him on the roster. Look at that. Running backs wise, we do lose out, I believe, on pretty much everyone we wanted. And that's the thing. It's like, if we really liked Rashad White, then yeah, we're ecstatic. Or Alvin Kamara, who's old with a back injury. James Cook, possibly. Everyone says he's going to be a league winner. Could probably maybe take him here and then just have that strategy of going top 2 wide receivers and then obviously filling out that running back tier. Because George Pickens, of course, is someone that we would love to have. Zamir White, knowing that we can possibly get him in the 6th, that is exciting. Of course, here, though, it is tempting because other players like Mike Evans, Nico Collins, they're still available. I'll go ahead. I'll take James White. I'll go with this wide receiver, running back strategy of kind of testing. And George Pickens is of course interesting pick. Trey McBride right there as well. Lamar Jackson too did fall to us at 4, and I think last year's MVP. I'll go ahead and take him. We could have waited for Kyler Murray. We do miss out on George Pickens, Rashee Rice right before us. Mark Andrews still there, and that's kind of the reason I guess we went. Dalton Kincaid as well could possibly fall. I do like the stacks as well, and I mean, as long as Mark Andrews stays healthy, he's going to be a great pick. And here's the thing too, we do know that Isaiah Likely can get it done as well. So should anything happen to him, just would be smart to shore up that position. This one is a little tough. With us having 2 wide receivers, though, I feel it's very easy for me to go Zamir White over Calvin Ridley, at least to pick in my eyes here. So we're going to go Zamir White. We waited till the 6. Definitely wouldn't have had a chance to get to us. And here in the 7th, we still have someone as a Deontay Johnson available. Dak Prescott, quarterback-wise. Jane Daniels still here. Running backs, Brian Robinson Jr. I know Keon Coleman's going to be our round 8 pick. So here in the 7th, just kind of looking how we have this set is how are we going to want to go. Going to check the running backs. More than likely, probably just shore up this position. Shore up. Whatever. Jalen Warren, Brian Robinson Jr. I'd much rather take Brian Robinson Jr. just because with Jalen Warren and Najee Harris both splitting essentially that backfield. Devin Singletary here is another interesting starter that we know for sure is going to be the starter. Chase Brown, exciting prospect as well. Just depending on what Zach Moss essentially can do here. We are in the 8th. I do know this is where I have to take the receiver I want. Brian Thomas Jr. also available there, but I want to take Keon Coleman first, hoping Brian Thomas Jr. Falls to us, and he goes 2 picks right before. 2 picks right before, and also Jonathan Brooks, who we lose out on. Looking here, though, wide receiver-wise, there's a couple ones we could take. Jameson Williams, who a lot of people say it will take a jump this year. We do have Amon-Ra St. Brown, so that essentially would be backing up our first-round pick. Romeo Doubs also in consideration as well, just with him being one of 4 options in that offense. However, a lot of people think he is either the 1 or 2 option. Kind of looking here, though, we have Devin Singletary, Jerome Ford. Those are kind of my top 2 options. I'm going to go with Devin Singletary. He's the highest value, essentially, that fell to us. We are in round 10. Romeo Doubs right before. Jameson Williams before that as well, with Rashid Shaheed as well. Just looking in, we're in our bench areas. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We got 5 more guys to shore up our depth in. And right now, running backs available. Trey Benson is exciting. Chuba Hubbard, who will provide value, strong value, for these first 4 weeks. Tight end wise, Jake Ferguson still there. Jaden Daniels. I'm going to go ahead. I'll take Chuba. Trey Benson right there honestly wouldn't be a bad pick too, just knowing that he eventually will take over. Tight end wise, we do miss out on Jake Ferguson. He goes 3 picks before us, and Njoku as well. So not really a lot of tight ends left that we like or essentially in love with. Receivers. Brandon Cooks. What he recently have like a concussion. Josh Downs, a high ankle sprain. Jahan Dotson not securing that wide receiver 2 role. That's definitely concerning. Quarterback wise, hey, Jane Daniels still available. I do have depth or some bench spots. I guess Rico Dowdle also was still there. Could have been in consideration as a wild card on if he breaks out and essentially can overtake Zeke. Tight end wise, Dallas Goddard. We already have our top tight end. Like I said, if we really needed to get Isaiah Likely, we can. Wide receiver wise, though, going with the rookies I like. Jalen Polk. We'll see if Xavier Legette possibly be there next round, and he doesn't. Once again, sniped just a couple picks before. Does leave, though, some exciting other wide receivers. Darnell Mooney. He's intriguing to me. We do have Drake London, obviously, to be that wide receiver 2 there in that offense. I think that's the route I'm going to go. I'm probably going to go Darnell Mooney right there. Tight ends wise, Dalton Schultz, intriguing. However, 3 wide receivers, they're looking for targets ahead of them. We have Mark Andrews. We spin up on Mark Andrews. Go Darnell Mooney. Essentially shoring up our wide receiver 2 spot. And looking here too, if there was really a tight end we want, Cole Kmet kind of is a wild card for me. He does have Caleb Williams throwing to him, who could use him as like that safety blanket. I think he will overtake Gerald Everett. He's just younger. He's been there. I believe building the rapport with Caleb. So definitely have some hope. Going in here though, we do just need our defense kicker. Last 2 picks. Get our kicker in here. Jake Moody, Jake Elliott, Tyler Bass. Let's go Jake Moody. We'll see what this one gets. Hey, we got our traditional C, 74 out of 100. We'll go ahead and take that. And this is our 74 squad. This is Lamar Jackson as our quarterback. We did wait until round 3 to get our running back. Essentially, there wasn't really anyone else that we liked. Next name available was James Cook. Still does have some question marks. Obviously, will he get those goal line touches? We know Josh Allen is going to steal a few rushing touchdowns away. So that, of course, is our concern, but will still be good, especially in this PPR format. Zamir White, Zeus as our RB2. Amon-Ra St. Brown, Drake London, Keon Coleman as that wide receiver 3, with Mark Andrews stacked with Lamar Jackson, Brian Robinson with the flex, Devin Singletary, Chuba Hubbard, Jane Daniels, Jalen Polk, Darnell Mooney, Cole Kmet on the bench with the Bills and Jake Moody, defense kicker. And man, look at this again. 3 out of the 4 really hated it, and 1 loved it. So Andrew Erickson, thank you again, sir. You've been the fan, our one lone supporter. Really appreciate the hype. It's great to see a green grade. You know, when I was doing this a few months ago, most of these drafts were in the 90s. Now they're in the 70s. Don't necessarily know what happens. What happened. I'm essentially attacking the same guys I was then. But I'll take that 90. That's exciting. So this was a good little draft. Like I said, this was the one route I did go mandatory wide receiver with that running back in the 3rd. There was other wide receivers available. Mike Evans, I think possibly we could have got there as our wide receiver 3. Nico Collins. We'll see here, though, running this back one more time. If that in round 3, should that running back of Isaiah Pacheco not be there, essentially, I think we're going to go, wow, Bijan Robinson here in the 7th. Wow. Still taking Amon-Ra over Bijan. Devontae Adams, Drake London. I'm actually going to go with the one wide receiver that been going after. And running back wise, wow, look, Josh Jacobs sneaking up there in the third. But yeah, look, Isaiah Pacheco right there, actually at the end of the second. That's where they're going. So, really does look like if you do want one of those three, and you do decide to go wide receiver first, just know that you're gonna have to get those essentially in the second round. Coming in here though, we have our options of Mike Evans, Nico Collins, Cooper Kupp. Out of those three, Cooper Kupp to me is kind of the one that is sticking out with the fact that Puka does have that injury. Nico does have two other mouse to feeds there. And Mike Evans, it's just, will he, I mean, he'll get the touchdowns. That's the thing. Obviously, we could get Chris Godwin later, just more PPR value. But Cooper Kupp to me is kind of rising a little bit on my board. And this is definitely an old veteran squad. Look at here, round 4. Man, that's some stout receiver. We have Lamar Jackson anchoring our squad. The fact that he fell to us. This is going to be a very interesting build, but I'm going with the fact that there were no running backs that I like there. Here in the 6, we are essentially having to take Zamir White as our RB1. But at that same time, Raheem Mostert does go in front of us, which does kind of put a damper in our plans. But obviously, there's other running backs that we essentially will have to smash draft, especially going this build. Here in the flex, we have been doing Keon Coleman as our wide receiver 3. With us having to take him at this next one, we know that he'll be our flex spot, which means that I am going to need to take a running back here. Tight end wise, wow, great to know in the 7th. Still good quality tight ends as Evan Ingram, Kyle Pitts, George Kittle, all still there. Jake Ferguson obviously being that last tier. Running back wise, man, all these have question marks. Javonte Williams. I mean, if I was here, I'm just going to have to take the next best guy that I know who at least would provide some consistency, and that would be Brian Robinson Jr. Here in the 8th, Ladd McConkey is there. Some other running backs, but wide receiver, I'm sticking to my guns. I'm making sure I get the guys I want. Obviously, I do become a little bit light in some other positions. We miss out on Brian Thomas Jr. there, which is okay because that keeps us away from temptation. As running back wise, there is Tajay Spears. There's Jerome Ford. A lot of hype with Tajay Spears possibly overtaking or just a little bit more of the split. So let me see here. Strong RB3 who could finish as a low RB2. What's Jerome Ford? An RB2 with upside. So that's the thing. It's like, do you want an RB2 with upside, or do you want a strong RB3 who could finish as a low-end RB2? Austin Eckler could provide some PPR value. We do have, whatchamacallit, Brian Robinson Jr. However, I much would rather have a sure thing rather than Tajay Spears. So I'm actually going to take Jerome Ford. Slight reach. I think he possibly could have been there in the next round. Actually, looking at those, more than likely wasn't. Looking at here, though, Trey Benson's still there. That's kind of exciting for us with the fact that I do like him. I think he'll be okay later on this year, even though he's kind of struggling a little bit in preseason, if some people may think. Rico Dowdle, of course, there as well to give a shot. Blake Corum to shore up Kyron Williams, who does have that history of injuries. Jake Ferguson is there. David Njoku, that would just provide extra value with that position. I mean, I guess we don't need to shore up that position there. Romeo Dobbs actually. With this being the last draft, I'm literally just thinking like if this was mine, how would I go about it? And we already have four quality wide receivers. So even though Romeo Dobbs is there, I don't know if we necessarily need to go after him just because we're hoping Jalen Polk will still be there next. Running back wise, I just feel since we're so light in that, I need to give guys that were going to give us the best shot at possibly just being league winners down the stretch. And Trey Benson does have that potential. Rico Dowdle has that potential as well. Wide receiver wise, Jalen Polk, any tight ends still available. David Njoku, obviously you could provide just more quality depth. We don't have Jaden Daniels there. I'm actually going to go Rico Dowdle. This is a team I need guys who have a shot, and looking to hear Kendre Miller, Marshawn Lloyd, a lot of these guys. Braylon Allen, if we had Brees Hall, of course, he would be in consideration. Teams wise, all right. Tight end, Pat Fryermuth, interesting. Could be interesting. I want the wide receivers I want. Jalen Polk. Come on, Leggett. There he goes. Leggett just going out in front of us again. Gabe Davis. I mean, I like Brian Thomas Jr. So, oh yeah, what did the last part say? Davis's fantasy outlook remains uncertain, making him a better fit for best ball formats. That's true. He's gonna have spike week, so if you are in a best ball draft, he could possibly be someone to take. Rashad Bateman, looking at the wide receivers, are the ones in consideration. Maybe Demarcus Robinson, but there is actually another rookie that is kind of emerging. What is it, Johnny Wilson or something like that? Sorry, dude, if I didn't know your name. Quarterback wise, Brock Purdy, Tua, Caleb Williams. If we're looking for depth pieces, we have Lamar Jackson. Honestly, it could be either Brock Purdy or Caleb Williams. Caleb Williams does provide some dual threat running upside, so Williams could be a QB1 in 2024, and no one should be shocked. It's not mobile. It's true. Go Caleb Williams. Slight reach, that's okay. Brock Purdy would have overall would have gave us more points total in the end. Rashad Bateman still available. I mean, that's kind of who I'm choosing right here. Actually, how many? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 wide receivers. So Rashad Bateman would be the one play I'm kind of considering. With us having Caleb Williams. Oh wait, well I don't know why. I thought Cole Kmet was still there as K. Auden. I'm dumb. Never mind. Rashad Bateman. Whoa. What was I thinking? All right. Going here, defense kicker. And then let's go ahead and see this draft. So we've had one supporter with an 85 and a 90. Oh, man. Everyone else hates us. 76. Hey, this has been the highest one out of all. And then watch, we'll look at the experts and maybe not uh, as much green. But once again, Lamar Jackson just kind of kept falling to us. Last year's MVP, very hard to pass on him. That next round, Mark Andrews is there. We have been playing a lot of best ball, so maybe we have been trying to get that stack a little bit more. Just makes more sense. So having Mark Andrews there just seems smart. But we'll run down this roster. Lamar Jackson, obviously sleeping on the running backs. So our starters are Zamir White, Brian Robinson Jr. Starting wide receivers are Amon-Ra St. Brown, Devontae Adams, Cooper Kupp, with our flex option being Keon Coleman, young exciting rookie out of the Buffalo Bills. Mentioned Mark Andrews as a tight end. And running down our bench spots, Jerome Ford, trying to get some running back help best we can. Obviously, we're going to be looking for some solid guys to pick up along the waiver wire later on in the season. But here, coming out the draft, we have to do best we can to just solidify and shore up or make sure our squad is best we can be going throughout the year. So Jerome Ford, RB1, that late in the draft, just got to go ahead and take him. Trey Benson was there. First preseason game, a lot of people didn't necessarily like what they saw on tape, but I do believe he will be able to take over later on this season. So going to take a chance with holding on to him. Rico Dowdle also has that chance to take over Ezekiel Elliott, so we took that extra running back piece with it falling to us in that round. After that, Jalen Polk, exciting rookie who is continuing to take reps with the ones from last reports I saw. Ended up going Caleb Williams over Brock Purdy, just because Caleb does have that dual threat upside. And then Rashad Bateman to close out this draft. So Fantasy Pros expert, 88, Andrew Erickson, once again, big fan. I think he's more of a Lamar Jackson, maybe Mark Andrews fan. That kind of seems to be the common denominator there. And Amon-Ra St. Brown. Maybe Zamir White, too, being on the sleepers. But look at this one. We actually had a couple of 80s. 1D, this was a great mix of just, guys. I mean, some experts will love who you came out with. Some are going to hate who you came out with. And I'm sure Derek Brown probably thinks I had some running backs that I could have chose. Having Bijan there in the first, more than likely would have been an interesting route to go if we would have shored up Bijan as our hero RB, and then going essentially as like Devontae Adams, our wide receiver 1, Cooper Kupp, and then filling out our wide receiver core from there. Which that really isn't necessarily a bad route to go, but appreciate you guys at least following along this week or today. It is a Friday, so we will be back on Monday. If I am able to squeeze some extra time during the weekend, may drop a little bonus episode. But you guys take care. Really appreciate you guys following along. And hey, guys, if you're drafting this weekend, good luck. If you're still doing research, we're going to be doing more mock drafts next week. Next weekend, I actually have my 14-team draft, the league that I'm in with that 14 team. So I'm going to try and start mocking in that more 14 team format just to kind of prepare myself, and then just throw out some extra content, of course, so you can see who is falling where when the rosters start getting a lot more thinned out. So appreciate it again, guys. Y'all take care. This is the Fantasy Stand, and good luck in y'all's fantasy draft. We'll catch you next time. Bye.